This episode of the Triangle Offense podcast is hosted and sponsored by Unheralded Media. Unheralded Media is a digital media collective formed all by the love of basketball. So if you make videos, podcasts, articles, or you're a photographer or a videographer, and you love and specialize in making content surrounding the game of basketball, come to Unheralded and we'll host and sponsor your content. Whether it's NBA, WNBA, NCAA, or even the high school level, we'll take in your content and you can join us and form a special community. So if you do want to join, DM us at Unheralded on Instagram, Twitter, and all the other social media platforms you can find on our website, www.unheralded.xyz/web. Thank you for listening. Welcome to the first episode of the Triangle Offense podcast, the only podcast where Kyrie Irving is your favorite player's favorite player. My name is Chris.
I'm Mike.
Nahum.
We got a show for y'all today. Long time coming. I'm gonna let them do their introductions first, and then I'm gonna
go. I'm Mike. Like my man Christopher or Harold said, this is a long time coming. We've been friends for a long time now, just talking about basketball and our love for the game. And now we actually like talking about it in front of an audience. So, excited for y'all to see it. And we appreciate y'all support.
That word. Nahum. My name is Nahum, you feel me? Like Mike said, this has been a long time coming, feel me? Like debates in the group chats, like we all we do is talk about basketball. So for us to start this is really good for us, and just ready to get this started.
So like my man said, like we're gonna get this thing started. We want to go through a lot before the season start. We 1 month before the start of the NBA season. Obviously we're gonna run through how we feel the East is looking like, how the West is looking like. We're gonna be ranking top 10 each position. That's gonna get hot. But we're really just trying to talk, and we're gonna start it off pretty close to where we're at right now. So we're gonna start with the East. We're gonna go through the teams. The goal of the day. One question for each Eastern Conference team. We're going to go through it. Obviously, a lot of changes have been going on throughout the East since the end of the season. Lots of movements, lots of motion. Obviously, a couple disgruntled people. We're still waiting for some pieces to move. But what we're going to do for y'all today is we're going to run down the list of the Eastern Conference teams. We're going to each have one question. We're going to see if the questions is matching, and we're going to talk about it. So I think we're going to start it off. Let's start it off with the Hawks. I think we're gonna start off with the Hawks. Who want to go first with the Hawks?
I could go first. What happened?
So go ahead.
All right. I said for the Hawks, how will Murray and Trey be better at coexisting on the floor at the same time? I feel like last season it was kind of difficult for them, although they were, new teammates. So I think they needed to figure that out this year.
I feel like with Trey and DeJounte, all it is them just playing more together. Like Trey gonna have the ball in his hands, DeJounte gonna have the ball in their hands. Like they just gotta figure out how to play off each other as far as when to cut. You feel me? Because DeJounte is not really that great of a shooter. So like with Trey, when Trey has the ball, like sometimes if he's in a pick and roll, they offense gets very stagnant. So and with Trey, he gotta learn how to, you feel me? He been working out with Steph this offseason, playing off the ball.
Right.
Feel me? He gotta be able to come off pin downs and have DeJounte run the point. So I feel like this season's gonna be a good season for them. Like I feel like as far as offense and their production, I feel like we're not gonna be worried too much. My lead piggyback off of Mike's question. My question was, I want to see how they're gonna play without John Collins this year. Like no John Collins. You feel me? Take away a lob threat. You feel me? Paint protection with his hops. He get a lot of rim protection. I just want to see how I want to see what the lineup is gonna look like to start the season. I want to see how they're gonna adapt without him being there. So
See, that's the tricky part because they've been trying to like get rid of him for a grip, like,
for
and then they finally traded him when like his trade value was dirt low. They only traded him for like Rudy Gay, who not I don't even think they kept him. So now
yeah,
it's like they didn't really get nothing in return to fill in what they lost in terms of like his athleticism, despite all his flaws. And to be honest, like I don't even know who they are going to want to start at the four this season. I know they started Sadiq Bey after they acquired him. I know they
yeah.
probably going to try like to have Capella and Kongwu out on at the same time, but like at the same time, I don't know if that's probably the best moving forward. I feel like an athletic, big like John Collins was perfect for Trey, especially when he was coming into the league. Um, but all that being said, I feel like the loss of John Collins is going to be as big as a lot of people anticipate because they started getting used to playing with less of a focus towards him offensively anyway. I think the big thing, and this is my question for the year, is how how much of a leap can the Hawks take with a full season under Quinn Snyder? Obviously, Quinn Snyder did fantastic work when he was in Utah, building up the Jazz until it eventually hit his peak and it wasn't able to work out. Um, when they took him in, it was a bit too late in the season for them to see any difference, and they kind of stayed mediocre. They literally finished
I feel
500. Go ahead, go ahead.
I feel like Quinn, like you can start seeing glimpses of like the change between Nate McMillan and Quinn Snyder though. Like
No, word,
I feel like later down the line, especially in that Boston series, some of
yeah,
the adjustments that he was making offensively to get Trey, because Trey was having a bad series
word.
until like he started getting to spots, and I feel like Quinn Snyder was putting him in better position
yeah,
to to get his buckets. Go ahead.
yeah. Like I think Quinn Snyder was a great pickup. I think, in my opinion, he's like probably the best defensive minded coach in the league. So, so I, I feel like he's the best defensive minded coach in the league because everybody knows what he's done with the Utah Jazz. The Jazz were able to be at least a top five team in the West every year. He was just about every year he was there, and nobody necessarily believed him, but he was able to get them to the playoffs in that point as one of like the best teams in the West. And it wasn't a easy West when he was there. It was a hard West. He had the Dynasty Warriors around that time. So I just think, and I do think the Hawks have good defensive pieces around them, just like the Jazz did. So I think he'll do more than good for them with that aspect of the game. Offensively though, I just think like he said, like it's all about making sure Murray and Trey are comfortable with each other. I think he has to find a common ground of how they're going to play off of each other. I think this year is a perfect year for Trey to average like at least 29, 30 with I just think he needs to be off the ball a little more and let DeJounte find him rather it being him always finding somebody, you know?
I
So
mean, Trey Young's his numbers isn't that far off. He's averaging 26,
that's what I'm
26,
saying.
10.
That's what I'm saying. It's just I just feel like that's that one more thing that he can add, and then I feel like it's going to be up to like that 30-point range.
With me, my biggest thing with Trey is his field goal percentage. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's a great scorer. We all know he can shoot that like the heck out of the ball, but it's like how many attempts is it going to take for him to get hot? Like you seen it in the Boston series. Like when they really needed him, he stepped up, but it shouldn't get down to that point where you gotta scramble to go get a bucket when and he has some good looks too. Like I need to see him be more efficient from the field. That's my biggest thing with Trey.
Mm. Okay, okay. All right. I'm gonna let Mike run this one. We're going
Oh
we're
no,
gonna move on.
you know where he going.
We're gonna move on to the Boston Celtics.
Oh
I'm gonna let
man.
Mike go first.
All right, so My question for the Celtics is, what version of Porzingis are we going to get this year? So my biggest thing is Porzingis has been injury prone since about his second or third year in the league.
Third.
Um, third year in the league. So last year he played about 60 games. So that's okay. That's good. That means like that gives me hope. But after the news that I'm hearing this summer about him having an injury, I don't necessarily like that. I know when he's playing, he's going to give us at least 15 to 20 points a game. And then he's not a elite rim protector or elite the paint defender, but he can when
He
it's
can do
time,
it. He
he
can
could
do it.
do it. Yeah, he could do it. So um I love the addition, but y'all two know the most that I also hate the loss of my dog, Marcus Smart.
Hey,
I mean, we
that
all know
go
where he
that go
went,
into
bro.
my question is how
After
big of a sacrifice will Marcus Smart be?
I feel like they just lost their defensive identity. Like with Marcus Smart, he gives them that sometimes JB and JT not always as gritty as Marcus could get.
That's a fair point.
Like Marcus and Marcus gonna hold whoever accountable, no matter who you are, no matter if you the number one option on the team or the last man on the bench. Marcus is just gonna make sure you doing your part. So it's like without that type of leadership, I don't know. I don't know if JT has that type of leadership in him yet, or JB. Like I don't know. So like
That's my biggest concern for real.
the loss of Marcus Smart could get real crazy. Like I don't know.
Cause like down the stretch, like we see it all the time, they'll get caught on the bad end of a run, and it's like they heads hanging. It's like they lose that momentum. It's like they not trying to like fight back. And it'll usually be Marcus Smart who's like yelling at them in the huddle, like get your mind
or,
right. And
or Alfred.
it's a different Al Horford. That's fair. It's a different comparison, but like if the Warriors lost Draymond Green, they not gonna have nobody in that locker room yelling at them. Like I know Curry probably has it in him, but he's more of a lead by example type of player, where
Right.
like teams that really compete and can handle runs and go on championship stretches, like down the stretch of a game, they need somebody in their ear, like leading them, like vocally. So we really gonna see how that impacts, because I can't even, despite all the good moves that Boston has made this offseason, it's really it doesn't add up if you lose your backbone. So that's what I'm worried about.
I
Man,
feel as though.
I hate
Go
the
ahead,
Clippers.
Mike.
I hate the Clippers. That's all I have to say. I hate the Clippers.
My question for the Celtics is like it doesn't get more generic. Like they're at that point. Like they've been to the playoffs. You feel me? They've gone to the Eastern Conference Finals multiple times. You feel me? They got to the finals. It's like when are they finally gonna be able to get over the hump? Like I don't know. And if they can't get there, it's like what else do they need? Like I feel as though as a team they're like they got the depth, they got the height. You feel me? They got the skill. The Porzingis pickup was a great pickup for y'all.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But that's the only like 7 footer we got.
Yeah, but I feel as though Robert Williams plays bigger than his height. So
Oh, for
like,
sure, for
and
sure.
then Al Horford gonna hold y'all down too. So like, I feel like y'all not really lacking that much in that area anymore. So it's like, if y'all don't get it done this year, it's like, and granted, last year y'all get a little bit of leeway. You feel me? Because of Jason Tatum going down, but at the end of the day, Jalen Brown still didn't show up at all. Like,
Fact.
like at that point, like you gotta feel me with Kobe and Shaq. Shaq went down, feel me, in Indiana. Kobe said, "I got you, big fella." You feel me? Like, I didn't see that from JB last year,
Right,
and I feel
right.
like that's why he got so much. That was the first time, in my opinion, he got as much criticism as he did.
Just consider
Like me
that.
and Mike, me and Mike talk about that all the time. Like,
Yeah, that's the first time he got like everybody was saying how he's better than Jason Tatum. That's that first time he got like that star of the team criticism. Like
Mm.
so,
I
we're
don't
gonna,
know,
we're
bro.
gonna see.
I feel like they done everything right. And it's just like now's the time. It's not even make or break. It's just like what more can you do to make this a team that's ready to win the
Where
championship?
where
It's just
it's
like they gotta go out there and do it.
where it's not make or break because everybody's bought. Everybody on the team,
Exactly. Everybody paid for it.
like if not like if we don't win this year, nobody's going to like threaten to leave or anything like that. But it's like if we don't win, it's just like damn, like what can we do at that point?
All right, next we got Brooklyn. We got the Brooklyn
Oh
Nuts.
yeah. I writing my question for this one was kind of like I really wanted to talk about this because we saw glimpses of it at the end of last year. You
Mm.
feel me? But I want to see how good how good can Mikal Bridges be as a number one option? Like he was so especially in you saw it in Phoenix
Yeah.
when D Book and Chris wasn't playing, he was going for 24, 25 a game. You feel me? He had some 30 point nights. So it's like I feel like he's gonna take a big leap in in his career this year. Like I feel like this is gonna be a big year for him.
I mean, after that trade, after he got shipped to Brooklyn, them 20 or so games, 26.1 points per game. Feel me?
Yeah, yeah. Your name question ties into mine. I said, do they believe in Mikal Bridges being the number one, or do they go find another star? Like, should he really be the number one, or should he be the number two? Maybe even the number three. That's a that I feel like that's a question that is in the air. Like, is he good enough to be the number one for that team?
I feel like he's good enough to be a number one. Like he plays defense. You feel me? From an offensive standpoint, he doesn't do too much, so it's within the flow of the offense.
Right,
And then on top of that, it's like he's a great guy. Like as a leader, you want someone that's going to be able to like show by example, but you also be able to like correlate with them. Like, and I feel as though Mikel has all those. He has all those number one um aspects to him. So I feel like they'll need to go get somebody else. Maybe they can trade for better pieces around him.
hmm
Like, and they still have hidden gems like Cam Thomas.
yeah,
Well, he's not really a hidden gem anymore
yeah.
because
They not.
everyone
They
was.
just not gonna play him. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know, but yeah, I feel like they just need to put better pieces around him, and they're gonna be a solid team.
That go with my question. My question was just, will the core around Mikal Bridges be a retooling roster or like a rebuilding roster? So are they
Mm.
going to go all in, give Mikal the keys, let everything fall as it may, and get pieces to develop, or like are they really about to try to look to really see what they can get for the pieces that they have right now? Because they gotta in the offseason, like they're collecting a handful of like really solid role players that's going under the radar, like people that got waived, they're bringing them in.
Right.
And so, like when it's November, December, and they contracts is valid to be traded, is like, do they go make a move for a disgruntled player? Because they got a lot of players that they can combine to make some assets. Like they took in Dennis Smith Jr., they took in Trenton Watford after they had to waive him. They was trying to when they was trying to make moves and over in Portland. They still got Cam Johnson, who they paid a lot of money. So if that don't work out, and his stock is still high, he still can be salary cap. They still got people like they brought in Darius Baisley. You feel
Yeah,
me?
I was
They
about to
brought in
say.
Lonnie Walker from the Lakers, which was like a
I'm gonna be
huge
real.
snatch.
They can have a solid squad. Like as far as like the only thing for them, I don't feel like offense is gonna be a problem. I feel like they just gotta buy in on defense. Like they gotta. They're not one of those teams where like even though as great as Mikal Bridges plays defense, they gotta collectively shut teams down. Like
They
Bro,
have the
these are good defensive players,
these are
yeah.
bro.
They
great.
got
These
They
are
yeah.
still
great
got
defensive
Cam
players.
Johnson, bro. Nick Claxton's about to break out to be like a all defense level player, bro. They still
They,
got Ben Simmons, and if he's
they got,
healthy, we know what Ben Simmons could do on
yeah,
defense.
Yeah, and they still got Dorian Finney-Smith. Like
They still got Dorian Finney-Smith. They
Cam,
still
we
got
still got
Royce
Cam
O'Neal,
Johnson.
bro.
they got
Like
defensive pieces. They
it,
got the pieces for that.
they
That
just got it. Just got to sink.
right,
Like
right,
they could make the playing off defense alone if they just consistent. Because these are guys who are young. They could play a lot of games, so they can win a lot of games in a row if they bought in and everything's going well. But
right.
it's just like, is it worth just having this mid team of like young players, or you need to go out and get somebody so you can get stuff happening again? Because it was very weird last season. You know, they had KD, they had Kyrie, and those games before they both asked out, they won 18 out of 20 games. We thought the season was going to be very different for Brooklyn, and now they're in this weird place, and their vet is like Spencer Dinwiddie, and now it's just like trying to see like what's the next move for them.
Yeah, I to piggyback off what you said with do they take those players that they're bringing in and like going and trying to find something new? I feel like that depends on what they do with Cam Johnson because I know he's either getting shipped around or he's looking for like deals and stuff
Mm.
like that. So um I feel like it all depends on that. If Cam Johnson is staying, then I say they use those pieces and then try to build. But if not, then I think you keep as much as you can.
Mm. All right, this is a good one. Charlotte Hornets.
I didn't for Charlotte. I don't really. I don't know. I didn't really have too much for Charlotte because like I feel like the East is just stacked. So my biggest thing was how well can Lamelo turn into a better leader, in my opinion, to rally his teams behind him to to make a playoff push because I feel as though like they have that playoff excitement with them. Like they're gonna especially at home.
Right.
I feel like they would be one of those teams that you like they would be a problem to beat at home because once they go on a run and once LaMelo's cooking, he's passing the ball, he's making shots. I feel as though like it would be very hard to stop them. I feel like from a leadership standpoint, he's not there yet.
Right. Right.
My
That's
question my question not really is serious, just because I feel like the franchise is all over the place. I feel like a lot of things have to change before we see any type of like meaningful winning from the Hornets. It doesn't matter whether they're drafting good in a lottery or not, or whether Lamelo's good or not. One thing is like that we still have to pay attention to is Lamelo injury prone? Because he missed a lot of his second season. He missed a lot of last season, and when he's on the floor, it doesn't contribute to winning. Like that's partially due to the roster, but it's a lot of shenanigans going down in Charlotte, and that also impacts like how a team fares throughout a season. Like they have some names that can put up points that could impact defensively, but these are some shifty characters. So it's like what are we really doing here is really my question. I don't even feel like it's any type of direction. I think it's just like a lot of controversy in these players.
Right. Yeah, speaking of controversy, my question is what is the locker room going to be like after the latest statements of Kai Jones? If you don't know, Kai Jones has been wilding on his IG lives. He's really been wilding. People say he's been off like perks and everything like that. Yeah, he's been wild and he's been saying stuff like he can beat Shaq 1-on-1 or LeBron 1-on-1. People respond and will say, "Oh, you can't even beat Mark Williams, his teammate, or LaMelo Ball, his teammate," and
He throwing them under the bus.
throwing him under the bus. He talking about some Mark Williams can't even go left, and oh, he beat LaMelo Ball all the time in practice, and this, that, and the third. So yeah, after those statements, it's just like how, and then also like with Miles Bridges, like that's also like
That's a whole
concern. That's a
yeah.
whole different. That's just a whole different aspect of like off the court and stuff like that. So I feel like that could majorly affect them, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. It, I feel like with this team, we just got to see what happens.
Mm.
Hey Chris, I think I gotta go for the next one.
All
Cause
right, bro.
when I was doing the East, I'm like, we gotta talk about. I want to talk about the Wizards because
Mm. Mm.
I feel like my question was, can JP make a Harden like leap, leaving the Warriors going to the Wizards? Like I feel like as far as
I see the vision. I'm not
as
even
as
going.
far as as far as skill set, you feel me, and the fan base behind him, like JP got a fan base behind him. Like a lot of people know who JP is and what he can contribute to a team.
Yeah,
So I feel as though I feel like his struggles would probably be the same thing as Harden, like field goal percentages. Like they both shoot poor, they take bad shots. You feel me?
Mm.
And their field goal percentage can drop, but when they going, they going. Like there's not really much you can do to stop them. So I got to see how he looking this year. Like they could be a solid team in the East. I feel as though.
For me, I was just like, can both Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma like collectively beat the empty offense allegations? Because like we both know how talented they are as players. I
right,
feel like what Kuzma has done the last 2 seasons with the Wizards has gone underlooked because they've been just such a trash team. But
right,
he's been a consistent rebounder. He's been able to put up 20 points per game. Like the
right,
flashes that we've seen when he was back on the Lakers, a lot of them
Yeah,
have been validated. But when when it comes down to growing a team, growing a roster, and being the main offensive weapons, like are they are they legit, or is it like a fraud alert type of situation?
yeah,
Because it's
'cause-
kind of similar to Jordan Poole. He had all of these impactful games and performances that led to them winning a championship. You know, you can look towards when they played Memphis, you can look towards when it was the finals. Like he really helped. Even back when, you know, Clay was injured and Curry was averaging like 32 a game, like when it came down the stretch and Curry was looking for people to help him, like Poole would come through some games. So you would see the glimpses of like, okay, this could be a real offensive weapon in the NBA. But you know,
right,
obviously last season his stock dropped. It was unfavorable. Obviously, the money situation in Golden State made it difficult, and ultimately they decided to sacrifice him. So now it comes down to like who is Jordan Poole? Like who is Jordan Poole the player, not the guard behind Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and you know who kind of got strung into the Warriors dynasty.
right. Uh, yeah. Your your question is basically the same as mine. I said, what's the plan on using Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma as a duo? Uh, for the first thing I have to say is I feel like Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole, I feel like they're just kind of one of the unlucky players to be in be drafted to systems or just be caught in a system where they have these uh high expecting teams with high expecting achievements. Like as soon as LeBron came to the to the Lakers, they were expected to win. So like because Kyle Kuzma's rookie season was a very solid rookie season, and then
Mm.
when LeBron got there, it's just like it went downhill, you know. So I feel like he just got caught up in that, and it's just very unfortunate for him. And then with Jordan Poole, obviously, like the same thing. Obviously, he was able to thrive for a little bit, but when you're on a team like that and they're contending for championships and they're not necessarily looking to develop young players, it's hard to find your spot, especially when you're in a situation and when you're in a situation where you feel like you found your spot. I know Jordan Poole, recently he just said how he felt. Well, Andre Iguodala came out and said how he felt like he should have had more freedom on the Warriors because he was averaging um the second most points on the team behind
Mm.
Curry. So it's I just feel like it's as a young player, it's hard to thrive under systems that already have championship working theme or system already. And I think now that they're on a rebuilding team, that they're going to be able to take those leaps to be, stars and actually like take a team to playoffs and stuff like that. Because we've seen the glimpses of Kyle Kuzma, we've seen the glimpses of Jordan Poole. Shoot, Jordan Poole is a good one of the like three reasons the Golden State Warriors won the championship in 2022. So
I'm not gonna lie to you.
without
Like
Jordan Poole, I feel like they don't win.
up until that NBA Finals, he's the reason why they got like he's
Right,
the number one reason why they won that NBA Finals.
right,
Like
100%.
his play leading up without Curry versus he had an astronomical, you feel me, performance versus the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, he packed them up crazy. And with Steph and Clay playing bad versus Memphis, like he was making timely shots, like he was keeping them in the games. Like
Right. Like
for
it's
them to treat him the way they treated him, I feel like that wasn't really,
yeah, yeah. Especially after what Draymond did. Y'all
yeah.
know, y'all know me. Like I feel like Draymond should have been gone from the Warriors, but
You
you
can't
know,
just ship off a piece like Draymond, though. Like
huh?
he's so you can't just ship off a piece like Draymond is like he's their Marcus Smart, but
So I feel like
magnified.
I feel like he's replaceable in terms of I feel Mark first off, like I understand like you say he's like their Marcus Smart. Yeah, I get it, but in terms of their position, right? I feel like he's replaceable, like for less money. Like you can get a guy who's going to yell at you, but not go ahead and punch his teammates in the face when
But then
they
again, you don't have nobody that's as first of all, Draymond Green as a defensive mind is ridiculous.
absolutely.
His experience playing in some of the craziest NBA finals, having some of the most stacked team, like you, I feel like that's not something you could just go out and replace. Like I feel like if I was a Warrior, if I was Golden State and I had to choose between Jordan Poole and Draymond Green, I'm gonna pick Draymond Green like every day of the week.
I'm not saying necessarily they had to choose between those two. I feel like just shipping off Jordan Poole is crazy and giving Draymond 100 M's is ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous.
To me, first off, Draymond has been getting injured more and more by the year and been playing less games by the year. So
He's
100,
there. He's there in the playoffs though. Like you can say
not
what you want in the regular season.
he's there in the playoffs, but I like I said, like I feel like you can go and get a PJ Tucker for what Draymond does.
Oh
No,
no, that's crazy. No, that's crazy. No, that's
that's
crazy.
That's how
That's
I
crazy.
feel.
that's
That's how I
disrespectful.
feel. I
No,
don't
bro,
think
that man
I
is
don't
a
think
four-time,
I
bro.
don't
That
think
man is
it's
a four-time
disrespectful.
NBA champion, bro. Like,
Huh?
he's a four-time champion. Like,
On the back of Curry and Kevin
We
Durant.
we 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 going into Golden State. So I'm gonna just leave it like I'm gonna leave it at this because I just feel like in comparison to a lot of recent cases where stars are dumped on rebuilding teams and kind of left to rot, both Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole are vets in the NBA at this point, and they both have reached a mountaintop with legends. So they have experience. I think that gives both of them kind of a special role into the future of the
but
Wizards because
but
it's a lot of young pieces on that team.
but
Right.
then again, this is also gonna be new because it's different. It's different when you playing with Bradley Bill, LeBron. You feel me? And you're not the Steph Curry. You're not the main people on the scouting report. Now teams is okay. We gotta go play JP. We gotta go play Kyle Kuzma. Now they're looking into your weaknesses. Now they forcing you what you like into spots that you don't want to be in. So it's like we got to see how well they play based off of the adjustment of how defense is going to show on them.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that comes with Jordan Poole. I think we need to see a major increase in his IQ. Like I think we all here can agree that his shot IQ is terrible. Um So yeah, I feel like if his IQ grows a little bit and he kind of like slows down the game a little bit, I think they'll be fine. I think the Wizards will be fine.
We about to burn through the next three because we gave the Wizards a lot of love. So
Yeah.
we're gonna go with Chicago.
All right. Chicago.
I know
Chicago.
my question was like, will they actually be sellers at the trade deadline? Because at this point, I think it's overdue. I think it's kind of obvious that Zach LaVine's not a winning player. DeMar DeRozan as your first option or interchangeably is not a winning player. Nikola Vucevic is mid. Like the last few seasons, he's been putting up identical numbers. Like I literally call him the NPC star because he'll put up the same 17 and 11 every season. He won't miss a game, but he'll give you 17 and 11 with trash post defense. Like and then like they biggest loss, Lonzo Ball's knee.
Right. Right.
I feel like
Like
that leads right into my next question because it's like I really, as far as the Bulls right now, I don't have anything to say for them. Like they're just a mid team. It's like how much have the Bulls suffered without Lonzo being there, and how high could their ceiling have been?
it
Right.
Like I
hurt
feel
because
like
like we seen it. We
we
seen
seen
it.
the glimpses, like
But Lonzo's game just fit that Bulls
perfect.
system perfectly. Like it
I
was
feel like
perfect.
that's. I feel like his system sets up perfectly right in between DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine because he's gonna be able to get them the ball how they want to get the ball, and
He's
on top of
got
that, he
easy.
relieves so much pressure on the defensive end. Like Zach LaVine is just not. He's not a great defender. Like I feel as though Lonzo being there, you feel me? That turns Zach LaVine into more so like a help defender, more so playing off of because Lonzo's taking that. He's taking that number one option out, like not out the way, but he's giving that number one option a long night.
Yeah, he gonna tire him out. And
Like
like we all have the same direction here with the Chicago Bulls. I said, all right, Zach LaVine and DeMar are gone after the season because DeMar said earlier this summer how if they don't get to the finals, he's gone. They're not getting to the finals, so he's gone. Like pack
Hey,
him
that
up.
that just answered our question.
Yeah.
Cleveland. It's like, nah, all right. Cleveland Cavaliers. Like, what we got?
So I'm gonna go first with this one. So my question is more recent because of the recent news that came out. I said Spider doesn't plan on signing an extension this summer. So do they panic or are they okay with their roster without him? If he
I don't think they
does,
panic. I don't think they panic.
I agree. I agree. I don't think they panic at all. I think their roster is good enough without him. I just think he does take them to that uh next level, but at the same time, it's like they have other pieces who can get to that level also. Like I truly believe like Darius Garland.
I believe in Darius Garland.
I
I'm not
believe I
I'm
believe
not
in
gonna lie to you. Like this leads into my next question because it's like how well can DG elevate his game?
yeah.
Like he's been a pretty he's a solid point guard with a deep bag, but like as far as numbers wise, like
Bro, 21.6 points per game, 7.8 assists. The
not
man was
worried,
shooting 41% from three
not
Yeah.
fat.
as a second option
But
to a
yeah,
man who
but
was almost
like
averaging
let's
30.
let's let's talk about it though. This not like today in today's league, a second option is not averaging 21 a game. Like
Word, word.
you
That's
need
all.
at least 20, you need at least 25, like that 24 to 26 range, like from a second option, depending on the player. And I feel like Darius Garland has that ability. You
He's not
feel me?
aggressive. Yeah, he's not
He's not
aggressive.
But he
aggressive
like
enough.
Steve Nash. Like
Yeah,
Steve
that's what
Nash
I'm
was
saying.
not
Like
shooting the
It's
ball,
not
but
that
he was
it's not that
elevating the
league.
team.
It's not that type of league anymore though. It's not that it's like it's just not that type of league
he
anymore.
like he has to go out and get his. He can still play, like he can still create for others, but he got to go get his more. Like he has to take more shots. I feel like you bringing up his efficiency. I feel like that's deals with him not taking that many shots and leaving that to Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley, who I feel like shouldn't be taking more shots than him at all.
I
Facts.
agree.
So
That go into mine because I do hold a certain sentiment towards Donovan Mitchell. and it's can they be serious come playoff time? Because as elite as Donovan Mitchell has made his reputation as a playoff scorer, he's
Right.
had performances. That man gets spooky for him in the playoffs. He got fried by Jalen Brunson last year. The year before that, he got fried by Jalen Brunson. It's like, what's going on? You can't be dropping 30 points per game. You can't be having people calling you playoff Mitchell and stuff like that, and you getting fried in the
Yeah,
second round. They was not supposed to lose that series to New York.
There wasn't at
right.
all.
Yeah, I
They,
agree. I agree. Like I feel like in the playoffs, he he goes too much. Like I feel like he focuses too much on the offensive end. To that point, he's getting cooked by Jalen Brunson on the defensive end. Like I feel like he tires himself out, and then he's trying
but,
to go get his buckets too much.
but
That
even
last
still,
season in
it's
Utah,
like averaging, like even still, like as a number one option, averaging what did he average versus the Knicks? Hold on, let me check.
I
it
just
was
know
probably
one.
like 30, 32 on like trash efficiency.
He averaged. I don't even remember him
He
dropping.
didn't. Nah, he averaged 23 a game, bro.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my goodness, bro.
Like
yeah. I think
as
he 130 ball. That's it.
he had a
It's
30.
like
He had one 38 point game.
it's
Yeah,
like
he
he
had
burns
130.
himself out.
And that leads back to my question. Like when Darius Garland sees that, like you gotta like once you see your main option not showing up, you gotta release some of the stress off of him. Y'all both can't be averaging 21, like 23 points a game. Like
That's what I'm saying. Like respectfully, like no one on the Knicks can guard Darius Garland. Darius
that.
Garland should be killing Jalen Brunson. He should be killing Josh Hart. He should be killing everybody on that squad. So like at that point, it's like not taking the slack off of Donovan Mitchell. Like he ain't have a good series at all. But it's also like you see a star player needs the help. Now it's your turn to go show the people like, yo, I could drop 25 a game in the playoffs too. Like I do this. Evan Mobley should not be taking more shots than him, bro. Like he's posting up Julius Randle, who's a whole 4 inches or 3 inches shorter than him, and missing those shots. He's taking layups. He's taking layups on Julius Randle. And y'all know like that might be a little biased because y'all know I hate Julius Randle. But like it's still like, bro, like you have to make that over someone who's smaller than you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. All right, we're moving over to Detroit. How we feeling?
um my question for Detroit was how big of a leap can Jaden Ivey make?
I
Like
know Jay Ivory is your disciple.
Yeah.
and how well him and K can complement each other if K stays healthy. Like
That, that's my
I
question.
feel like they
Word,
could
that's
be
my question too.
a dynamic backcourt, like especially with a sword coming off the well, I don't know what the minutes is gonna look like. You feel me?
I doubt he's starting because they picked up some like interesting people high key. They low key. They fleeced Monte Morris off the Wizards. Nobody
That's what
saw
Not,
I'm
that.
saying.
not yet, but I'm saying as far as with their three top guards right now, Cade, Jaden, and their what was it? What was the sword like? He was like top five pick, right? Top.
Storm might probably not even about to play
What?
guard.
Yeah, he probably
He
about to
he
be
he
three.
they're gonna be
How tall
playing
is
him
he? Like
like
six
wing
six,
wing. He
six
like
six.
6'7", yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
he gonna be the three for sure.
I want to see how well they complement each other. And if Cade is out, like Ivy can't be averaging like no 16, 18 points a game. Like you gotta, I don't know. You gotta.
I just want to see what a healthy Cade look like.
Oh,
Right.
Like
we've
like
seen
Paul
glimpses.
like Paul Pierce no, but like year 3, like he had some time to progress. Like it's not rookie no more. He barely played. He was out most of last year. Like Paul Pierce was saying, like they keep giving me a taste. I want the whole load of Cade Cunningham. Like I want to I want to see like what he got for me.
Yeah, like that's my question. Like Cade, can we get Cade to at least 60 games this year?
That's what I'm saying.
Like last year he played like 7 games. He played like 7 games last year. He got injured the first like couple games of the season. So like I just want to see a healthy Cade. What does a healthy Cade look like?
Plus, they
And
got a real coach up in there now. They got rid
that's
of
what
that
I'm,
fraud, Dwayne Casey. They
that's
brought
what
in
I'm saying.
Monty Williams. I want to see if he could revitalize. And I know they brought him in. They looking for
I
him to
mean,
kind of do what he
let's
did with the Suns.
Monty has a great history with guards though.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
So
My thing, yeah, yeah. I don't. So like I know people are talking about Ulcer and everything. Or even really Jaden Ivy. I don't really see. Um, Y'all know how I am about the Thompson twins. So like from there, I don't think they're going to be that nice in the league. I don't think they should have been as high of draft picks as they were. So we'll see with them. But with Jaden Ivy, I feel like he just got to get better before we start talking about him as a second option. I don't think we should be looking at him as a second option yet. I don't think he's like there. I
Mind
don't
you,
think
Bogdanovich averaged like 20, shooting like
that's
42% from three.
that's what I'm saying. Like Bogdanovich is there. I feel like that's their second option right now, and he's a reliable second option too. He's going to give you 20 a night, and then people underrate his defense. Like he's not like he's slow, but he gets stops. He's very active with his hands. He got a nice long wingspan. So I feel like with a healthy Cade and um without putting the pressure on Osser
sore.
and yeah, Asor, whatever his name is, Asor and Jaden Ivy to be like second option guys straight out the gate, I feel like they can make a good playoff push.
But I
Mm.
feel like another thing too. If you look at their lineup, like that three 1 through 3, the shortest player is 6'4". Like that creates a lot of matchup problems. Like on the other side, like Cade is 6'7", Asor is 6'7", Jaden Ivy 6'4". Like
And it's also like, what are we gonna get from James Wiseman?
They
word.
got some bigs that like
They got
they
Jalen Green.
projects. They got
They,
Duran, they got Wiseman, they still got Isaiah Stewart. They got Nerlens Noel in the cut. Nah,
I'm not
he went
I'm not
to
a believer in
Sacramento.
Isaiah Stewart.
Yeah.
where why he tacked the king like that? He pack him up, pack him up.
Not a friend of Isaiah Stewart.
Yeah, I
But
don't think he that nice, but
I feel like that going into the next team, you feel me? I want to talk about the Pacers.
Mm,
That's a
mm.
dark horse. That's a dark horse right there because I feel like I know what I'm gonna get out of Tyrese. You feel me? Like he's showing like okay, like I see what I need to do and like I'm gonna get there. I want to see how well Benedict. You feel me?
Benedict.
He has to take the leap because we
Like
just found out Buddy Hield. He going out the door.
My
that
Haitian,
word.
my Haitian brother right there.
I feel like he has like I like the comparisons that he's getting to like a young D Wade, Spider. Like I he has a very high ceiling. Like I had to go back, you feel me, watch the highlights, see who he really was. Like he's not backing down from nobody. You feel me?
Right,
He has that it factor with him. So it's like I want to see how well he can play. And was this his second year?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I want to see it. I want to see how big of a leap he can take in the second year.
yeah.
I just think like this is the first off season where I feel like they did a really good job aside from the draft. Obviously they they finally got Obi Toppin. They was trying to get Obi Toppin for like 2, 3 seasons. They finally got him from New York. Obviously they had the extra cash to drop a bag and get Bruce Brown away from his championship brothers. And
They still
now
got Miles Turner.
and they still got Miles Turner, who is
Still,
still one of the most underrated centers in the league.
Facts.
He can give you almost 20 a night.
right,
He's a rim demigod, and he's one of the best floor stretchers for his height.
right,
And he's already shown to be a very good mesh with Tyrese.
right.
So then it really just comes down to like, is this the season where they take that leap and they finally start kind of making a little buzz towards the postseason. Because I don't think they have enough assets to really do anything yet. But with a player as talented as Tyrese, and I think their roster is gradually improving. I just think this is the year that something will click, and we just
If
really
you
start to get a feel for the Pacers' identity with Tyrese at the helm.
if you
Yeah,
look at the roster, like it's literally like it's surrounded around Tyrese. Like that OB pickup was a great pickup. Like giving him a lob threat,
City is Loud City.
like I got a lot of hopes for the Pacers team. So
That's basically my question. I was like, how does Obi Toppin help with the Pacers push for the playoffs? I think it's just perfect for Tyrese. I think Tyrese has all the weapons uh that he needs around him. He's gonna definitely average over 10 assists a game, or maybe just at 10 assists a game to me. He might, in my opinion, he might be the assist leader this year. Uh
I think he could do 12. He did
I
10
think
this year.
Yeah,
yeah.
he did 10 this year. So I feel like he's gonna be the assist leader this year. Yeah, like I feel like the Pacers right now, other than the Magic, who's the next team I want to get into, uh, I feel like the Pacers are that um other young team that can make a that can actually get to the playoffs this year. I feel like this offseason was a good offseason for them. They did everything right. So yeah, with that being said, let's go into the Magic. All
Now, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you
right. For the Magic, my question is: can Paolo and Franz make a major leap this year and take Orlando to a playoff appearance? Now, uh, I feel like Paolo already showed that he's nice. Like he can be a guy on the team. Uh, Averaging 20 his rookie year, winning rookie of the year, and everything. And then with Franz is nice. Like that's a
I'm
nice.
so high on Franz Wagner,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. I feel like he goes under the radar as like he's a great two-way guy. Uh, Plays good defense.
And they
Um,
both play too. 72 games played, 80 games played. Like
that's what I'm saying. They both play, so it's really up to like I feel like this year I feel like Paulo's definitely gonna make a big leap this year. And I don't think we're gonna have to wait that long for him. I don't think we're gonna have to wait till the third year like we do with most young players. I think this year is the year where Paulo is gonna average around like 24, 25. You know what I'm saying? So and then France I think is gonna average like 22 behind him. And that the roster isn't like it's a good roster. Like it's not a bad roster. Like they have a nice solid roster. I like Wendell Carter Jr. for them. Uh yeah, I feel like that's another young team that can definitely get to the playoffs this year.
My question was the same. It's like can they build like a homegrown push towards at least a play-in? Like I'm so antsy about this team. Like I look at their roster and like you said, they got France and they got Paulo, and those are two players I'm very high on. And I
Right.
think both of them have adjusted to playing in the league very well, very quickly. So you get
but
you get the right roster around them. I really feel like they could build momentum faster than a lot of these rebuilding projects have. And one of the weird signings that they brought in earlier was Joe Ingles. But in
Right.
hindsight, to a lot of the moves that kind of happened later in the season, it's making me excited because I kind of see why they brought him in. Obviously, he's a vet. That's a vet presence. That's a
that's
voice in the locker
that's
room. That's a
yeah.
very young locker room, and he still got the shooting touch. Now, Buddy Hield is on the market. They have a lot of picks, and they
I
have
feel like
a guard lock. I
nah,
want to see Buddy Hield on the Magic. That's all I'm saying.
I feel as though Buddy, I don't think they're lacking any. Like they have a ton of guards. Like I don't really want to
They
see
can
another
get rid
guard.
of some of them. That's all I'm
Nah, they
saying.
can. What is he? Buddy's in Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could get rid of. I don't know, but the thing with the Magic is like, is their youth gonna get in the way of them? Like when you started going into Ingles, like I liked Ingles a lot on that team because they're a young team, like a super young team. Like, is their youth gonna get in the way of them making a playoff push? That's my because everyone knows how a season goes. Like, it's a lot of ups and downs in the season, and if they get into a mean slump and they're not like locked in and not like composed through that slump, it can get real. It can get real dark real fast.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I understand that, but I feel like they'll be fine considering that Paulo and friends are very too poised and calm and collected guys, and those guys. They're the guys who are leading them. So I feel like they're just going to lead by example. They see that their two stars or their two guys are calm, cool, collected in game winning situations. I think they'll be
Yeah,
calm in games.
Mm,
yeah, but as far as like we've seen those type of superstars, and with this Magic team, I think they need a voice. Like, they need someone that's gonna really like. They don't need somebody that's gonna lead by example. Like, I feel as though I feel as though with Paulo's league and his plan this year, that I know is gonna happen because the league just looked like coming into the league, it just looked easy for him. I feel as though he has to make a leap in leadership too. Like, he has to establish like that he knows it's his team. He has to establish that I don't want to say dominance, but he has to establish that voice that the team needs. Because like I said, this is a young team, and like if they don't have someone talking to them, and if they're not vocal with each other, like it can get bad real quick. So
Right.
I know the three teams that I do want to finish with.
I
So
know.
so
See,
so
I already,
next
I already know. I already know.
so so first so first we just gonna talk briefly about the New York Knicks, Michael's favorite team.
That's not my favorite team. I hate the Knicks. I love Jalen Brunson though. Respect to him. Um, my thing with the Knicks, my question is, who is their number one now? Do they
Jalen Brunson. Jalen
are they
Brunson.
still going to
Jalen
be?
Brunson.
Yeah, we know it's Jalen Brunson, but does the Knicks front office and coaching know that? We know how ignorant and arrogant the Knicks front office can be, and just be bad at everything. They ruin everything for themselves. So
I feel like they know. You want to know why I feel like they know? They
wow,
saw what he did. They saw what happened when they brought in Josh Hart, and then they brought in Dante DiVincenzo.
right, right, two of his Villanova
Two of
teammates.
his Villanova teammates.
So
I feel
that's
like I feel like the Knicks is actually like they're actually
They're getting it, bro. And
yeah.
it's going to get to a point where
Julius
Brunson
Randle's. I feel like
is Randall going to be expendable. You
nah.
feel
What I was
me?
about to say, I feel like it's gonna get to a point where Julius Randle's gonna get out of there, and they're gonna get the right piece that they need
I feel
because
like go ahead.
Julius Randle has value. Like as much as Mike hates him, like Julius Randle has a lot of value. Like,
Nah, that
For
man's
sure,
still an
for
all
sure.
NBA player.
Yeah,
not
for
really.
sure. I feel that's where the value part comes in. I feel like getting rid of RJ Barrett and Julius Randle together,
And the package is gonna be crazy.
they can bring in like a major piece. Like they can bring in somebody major. I feel like because in my opinion, I know we all talked about it too. RJ Barrett is done, bro. We're tired of waiting for him to be somebody, and he's taking too long. We know he
I
can be
agree.
somebody, huh?
I agree.
I mean,
Yeah,
for you to say he's done is a crazy statement. Like
Nah, done is crazy, but
I'm
it's
being
like
over
what's going
again
on,
though.
bro?
Like,
yeah, I'm being over exaggerating, but
I
y'all
feel
know
what
what
you're
I
saying
mean.
though.
Yeah, like y'all know what I mean. We know what he can do. He's had glimpses. He dropped 40 on my Celtics and before like twice or something like that. Like we know what he could do. So like it's time to just but he's not consistent. It's time to pack him up. He gotta go. He has to go.
And I feel like it's weird, and I feel like maybe it's just a thing with Canada Wings. I feel like he's gonna overdo his stay in New York, but then when that window comes for him to go somewhere else, he gonna break out and become an impactful player. It's just how long is that gonna take? Like I can
Right.
very much like for years, Andrew Wiggins was just doodling on the Timberwolves, but he was racking up points. But they was waiting for him to be something. And they finally found that window
Even
to
but
ship him off.
even still, he got to the Warriors and he still wasn't that yet. Like, he had to really like it. I forgot what series it was, but he had to really see like, oh nah, like they really can't do nothing with me. For him to really take it to that next level, like
Mm.
he's one of the, in my opinion, he's one of the best two ways. One of the best two ways in the league. You feel me? He's gonna get you rebounds. He shoots the ball at a very well clip. Like,
It was that Maverick series.
yeah,
Mm.
It was
Mm.
that Maverick series. That's when he woke up. That's when he woke up.
Man, you know what I'm about to talk about next, bro. I'm not even gonna get riled up about it. But we're gonna talk about the Toronto Raptors. Um, I'll go first. I'll go first, cause just to show I'm not biased. My question is Scotty Barnes a bust? I cause we know last season when Kevin Durant asked out, the Raptors was in discussions because apparently the Raptors just talk to everybody every time the stars up from Damian Lillard to Toronto. You feel me? But like it became public knowledge that the deal didn't happen because the Raptors was not willing to part with Scotty Barnes. They're in this situation now. Obviously, they lost the year before last season. They lost Kyle Lowry for nothing. This off season they lost Fred VanVleet for nothing. It's looking like OG Anunoby could be next, and we keep getting these offers to take deals that could perhaps give some life to our team at the sacrifice of the depth that we've acquired since Lowry's left. And I'd say the biggest thing is last season we was really expecting Scotty to have some type of notion that like his rookie of the year was just a glimpse of like what is to come. He came into the season, he was less efficient. Obviously, the touches were off. Obviously, that goes into a whole nother conversation about Nick Nurse and his minutes. But obviously, now Nick
Yes.
Nurse is out the picture. We got Darko, who is a coach who specifically for rebuilding rosters, which makes it even more difficult that this team is still in conversations for superstars now. Like talking to the Sixers about helping reroute Harden, or even recently, the last few days, it's becoming clear that they're one of the teams that are heavily interested in acquiring Dame. And
Yeah.
then to go on top of that, the stability of Siakam's role in this team is unclear. He's fully committed. He refused to go to Portland. He refused to commit long term to Portland because he wants to stay in Toronto. Now Dame is looking toward now Portland's looking towards the Raptors again for business. And now the toss up is kind of between, well, do you want to give up OG for Dame? But even though OG is probably one of the best pieces that Dame could play with in a starting roster, and then if it's not OG, then it has to be Scotty. And time and time again, the front office has made it very clear that Scotty Barnes is not worth parting with. He's not up for a deal. They've even said they'd rather give up Grady Dick to in a package for Dame. And as we continue to pass on these offers, it becomes more and more pressure on Scotty to be like, well, if we're not going to ship you away for a Hall of Famer like Kevin Durant or Damian Lillard, then it's like, who are you? Because right now you just playing like a big Draymond Green with less defensive IQ, and that
Right.
that doesn't do any that doesn't justify any of the commitment that we've made to the player in the last 2 years. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, I feel like Scotty hasn't really got like. I like Scotty's game, and I like his fit with the Raptors. Like, I don't know. My biggest thing was, is he gonna be able to make a leap? Like,
It's needed.
it's
Yeah.
super. It's like it's needed like bad. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I feel, but that that kind of ties into my question. I said, do they keep Siakam and OG as the core guys, or do they go into a complete rebuild? Um, with I feel like, to answer Harold's question, I don't think Scotty is a bust. Um, I think last year was just unfortunate for him considering Nick Nurse was being very ignorant and giving him the touches that I feel like he deserved. I
He
don't
lost the locker room. He did.
yeah, yeah. So uh I feel like Siakam I feel like Siakam getting touches over Scotty last year, even though like Siakam was like he averaged like what like
Like
20
25.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
one of his best seasons.
Yeah, it was one of his best seasons, but I also feel like Scotty should have got more. Even OG at a certain point in certain games was getting more touches in their scheme than Scotty. And OG is not very ball dominant player. He's more so a sit in the corner, shoot threes kind of guy, or sit in the wing, shoot threes kind of guy. So um he'll go get a stop on defense. So I feel like a lot of Scotty Barnes not taking that leap last year was due to coaching and him not getting the touches he deserved.
Mm.
Now, uh, to go to my question, do they keep Siakam and OG? I feel like they give Siakam away because after Kawhi left, it's obvious like he shouldn't be their number one. Um, I think it's been proven that,
I think
but
he's a great number two.
yeah, I
I
think
think he's one of the best number twos.
Nah,
yeah,
he's a great number two.
I think he's a number two. But I say they get rid of him because he's also kind of injury prone. So like
Nah,
it's
he
not
been playing. What you mean?
Nah, we're
last year was good.
If anyone injury prone is OG, and that's
Yeah,
why I think
that's what I was gonna
his
say.
time is coming up.
That's what I was gonna say too. I was like like Siakam's getting older and OG's been in the league for a minute. And he doesn't finish his seasons. Like he doesn't play a lot of time. So my thing is, do they keep those two guys, or do they just completely full in go into Scotty Barnes being their guy and go bring in some more people and pieces around him and just build from there?
They gotta. It's a hard decision to make, but I feel like the last two seasons have already shown us like the direction that they kind of need to go to. I feel like they're just scared to take that jump because it so goes against kind of the identity that they've built over the last few years.
nah, we're
Um, and then we got the Milwaukee Bucks, and I'll say off rip, my question is: Giannis is beginning to question his options. Are the Bucks bold enough to make a win now move to keep a good thing going? This roster has been stagnant for a grip. It's been no progression really. Giannis is still Giannis. Giannis is still fantastic, but Chris Middleton is getting older. He's getting injury prone. Drew Holiday is getting older. We're gonna start seeing him regress. Brooke Lopez is already
God.
old. You
I don't
feel
even want
me?
to.
So
I don't
it's
even
like
want to talk. I
Brooke
don't even want to
Lopez
talk
been
about
in
Drew
the league.
Holiday.
Brooke Lopez been in the league since we was like 4 or 5.
Brooke
Word.
Lopez, one of the last New Jersey Nets still in the
That,
league, bro.
that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, so yeah,
I
he's
mean, the thing with the Bucks is like my question piggybacked off of what Harold had to say. Like, how much is that front office willing to take that risk? Like, after a while, you keep losing in the second round, like first round, second round. Like, we gotta like, you feel me? Some gotta change, and I feel like Middleton has to go.
It's
Middleton has
it's it's getting that time. He getting hurt
Middleton,
more.
Middleton
He
gotta go.
becoming
Like
mid.
after that run versus the Suns, like he hasn't been the same.
yeah,
Like,
like I think all our questions are the same because I have the same thing here. Like how are they gonna attack Giannis potentially leaving next summer? Like,
word.
um, like Harold said, the roster has been stagnant for a while. They've been very like strict with their roster. Um, I think I think a coaching change was big because I do think Mike Budenholzer is very
He went to the Doc Rivers School of not being able to make
yeah, like
adjustments.
Yeah, like Mike Budenholzer to me is not a great coach at all. I think he
Didn't
was
they get
just
rid of him?
Yeah.
yes, he got fired.
Who's the coach now?
Uh I forgot. I forgot. The name is
I
not.
I know who it is.
Yeah,
I gotta get his name.
yeah. But
Nah, but keep
Mike,
going here.
yeah, Mike.
Adrian Griffin?
Yeah. My
Yeah,
that's why the
yeah.
Raptors former
That
assistant coach.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, like I was saying, like I don't think he was a good coach at all. I just think he was blessed to have a good system in their up and coming years.
Mm.
Um, like he was able to
And
get, but
I feel like a lot had to do with the league just not knowing what to do with Giannis
right, right. I
for
don't
so
think.
long. For so
Yeah,
long. And Boston does it. Boston does it very well. Like for so long that like they just didn't know what to do with Giannis. They didn't know how to they didn't know how to slow him down. So it's like when you get to those points in key games and teams like Boston, they go versus him in crucial moments and they dig in and figure out how to, you feel me, slow him down. It's like now you start to look at the other options and there's nobody there. So it's like they're
yeah,
gonna have
yeah.
to
The league knows the Bucks now.
Yeah,
The
not
league
like
worry.
knows them now. It's
I've been
like
like
we
I've
need
been
that
telling
refresh.
I've been one of the first ones telling y'all for years how mid the Bucks are. Like I've
They
been
have a
saying,
chip. I don't. It's like you can't
yo,
say
like oh
you
my
can't say
god.
that. You
I'm
can't
just
say that.
no,
I mean,
I'm just saying. I'm first off, that's a lucky
It's
chip.
not lucky.
It is lucky.
A chip is a
Uh,
chip. Right or
Kyrie
wrong.
Kyrie was injured and Katie just got long feet. I think like out of those two teams that played that year, in the East between the Nets and the Bucks, I do think the Nets would have beat the Suns too. I think I think any of the contending teams in the East would have beat the Suns. I don't think the Suns were that good. I also
I'm
think
not
the I think
gonna
the Sun I
nah,
think the
we can't go into that. We can't go into that. We can't
yeah,
nah,
go into that.
where.
yeah. But uh they got a chip, I guess. It's cool. It's a good win on their part. Giannis performed. Yeah, but
Giannis
like I said,
performed.
I've been telling y'all how mid they are for a year. They just rely on Giannis, and once Giannis is stopped,
It's
it's
over.
it's close for
Yeah.
them. And the Celtics figure that out. I think uh whenever it comes time for the Celtics to play Milwaukee, I think Jason Tatum's eyes light up like he'd be killing Giannis. So I think it's just I think it's time for Giannis to go experiment somewhere else, in my opinion.
We gonna have a field day with this one, bro. The Philadelphia 76ers.
My biggest thing, when you talk about the 76ers, I just think about Maxi. Like, we know what you're gonna get out of Joel. You feel me? Harden might not be there. You feel me?
And he not there, bro. He not there.
Like
He's not there. He's not playing.
He said
I
Daryl
mean,
Morey is a liar.
Bro. He gonna sit out until he traded. He's not like Harden is gone. We don't even gotta worry about that.
Nah, they so unfortunate, bro. They had to deal with Ben Simmons twice.
Yeah,
bro, Maxi, Maxi, like
No, it's time.
he's had
It's
he had
time.
great jumps. He's taking leaps every time you've had that question, like, can he be that next? He's proven it. And now that question is coming back again. Can he be
Mind
that
you,
second?
third option, 43% from three.
yeah,
Not
That's
he
like
worried.
mind blowing efficiency from three, bro.
yeah
Not worried.
he was super,
He's basically 50, 40, 80. Like,
yeah
you feel me? Like he's
super
efficient.
as a second option. He's a super reliable second option. Like I'm not worried. If I'm a 76ers fan, I'm not worried about Harden leaving at all.
Me neither.
I'm not
The only
worried.
thing, the only thing I would be worried about is what I'm
It's
getting
what we
back.
getting back. You feel me?
Yeah.
You feel me?
Like we gotta get something back though.
You
Like,
can't lose that for nothing because the roster not even good enough.
not worried.
I say for Harden, don't pick up another star. I say pick up like
I feel
a
like
good
two or
amount
three
of-
role players.
yeah, like I say pick up a good amount of role players so y'all not stunting Tyrese Maxey growth.
I ain't
I
gonna lie,
agree.
he could go to Toronto.
No, shut.
You feel me?
Don't even do that. Don't even
But
do
let's
that. Don't
talk
even do
about it
that.
though.
Nah, we're not talking about it.
We're not,
My question really a bet is like, will Embiid ask out before or after the trade deadline? That's how I'm feeling.
I think it's gonna be after. I think it's gonna
I
be
feel like
after.
he gonna play out the season. I feel like he just needs to get embarrassed in the postseason one more time
I think
for the road.
I think that question depends on how the 76ers are doing before the trade deadline. I think if they're losing
Regular season is not a problem for the 76ers.
this year, it
Like,
might be though, because you have their first it's new coaching, their locker room isn't intact. It's too much going on with them right now for them to actually like just buy in. So I can't say that they're definitely going to be a winning team in the regular season, but I can't necessarily say that they're not at the same time. You feel me?
All right. Last but certainly not least, we got the Eastern Conference champions, the Miami Heat.
I'll go.
Miami.
Go ahead. All right. For me, Miami, my thing is this. Besides Jimmy and Bam, like who else do the Heat have to offer for Damian Lillard? We know about Damian Lillard wanting to go to the Heat, and he wants to play with Jimmy and Bam. But how is he going to get there without Jimmy and Bam being one of the guys who go to Portland? So I this is I guess you could say this question is more so um tied to Dame than it is necessarily about the Heat.
Not really, because you got to think like the front office got to make that like.
The front office does have to make the offer, but it's like Portland is not going to just give Dame for Tyler Hero and call it a day. You feel me?
Yeah.
So and he wants to play for a championship contending team. I understand that. But real talk, this heat run was a serious fluke. It was a serious fluke.
Can't
I
say
agree
that.
with you. Nah. I'm gonna hear him out because they stumbled into the playoffs.
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
This
no, no, no,
team
no,
was
no.
44 and
But no,
38.
but you have to say you got to think about it like this though, Harold. This is a consistent thing with them, so it's like I can't keep going
But
based
it's
off of
not.
this.
It's not.
It's
It go
not
into
though
it go into
because
my question because like they lost Gabe Vincent and they lost Max Strus. This
right.
team was barely had depth last season. They lost a little bit of depth that they had left. I don't even think if they don't even have the assets to acquire Damian Lillard. So it's like, how are they even going to sniff the same level of success with when they can't when it all really banks on acquiring Damian Lillard? Because like let's say they do that. What does
Right.
their depth look like?
And then
They scrambled in the offseason to try to pick up pieces. They got Josh Richardson and they got Thomas Bryant. What is that supposed to do in the East when there's still teams like the Celtics, when the Bucks are still good, when the
and then
Sixers can still do something?
and
Knicks,
then it's like
Cavs.
and then it's like Dame hasn't been necessarily healthy that much
That's another factor.
in his last 2 to 3 seasons. And then it's like Jimmy and Bam are both getting older. They've been in the league for over 10 plus years now. Like how much are we going to get them at the top of their game? Like I said, like
Nah, Bam's still young. He played 6 seasons.
I didn't say Bam.
Oh,
I
you
said
said Jimmy and Dame. Yeah.
Jimmy and Dame. Like how much
I
elite
mean,
are we
I'm gonna
going
be
to get
real.
out?
With Dame, I'm not really worried as much. Like, you know what you're gonna get at Dame, and on top of that, he's a shooter. So like he still has a lot of run left. And with Jimmy, it's the same. Like I'm not seeing no signs of Jimmy slowing down. Like,
But that's the
but
thing, though. Jimmy's, in my opinion, Jimmy's game is perfect for a player who's slowing down. You feel me?
I mean, yeah, but it's like I feel like Jimmy's game is also perfect for someone like Dame too, because
It's perfect for someone like Dame, but Dame's game is not necessarily ideal for a player who's slowing down. You feel me?
understandable.
His
I
game is
think
relied on beating his man off the dribble, getting to the screen, and getting to his spot fast enough so he could pull the open shot. It's all based on his elusiveness and the footwork and everything. Jimmy
I
is
feel
just going to take you down low, use his strength, and rise over you. That's a retiring or a old man's game. You feel me?
I feel as though like as easy as we could have talked about like Dame, like me and Mike talk about it all the time. It's like Bam. I'm 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 really concerned for Bam because it's like you get to a certain point, you gotta be able to expand your game. Like
Mm.
Bam should have been like Bam should have been able to like spread the floor, open the floor up, like, and
We
by
always
just that by just that alone, like that creates so much like teams. The way teams play Miami and like pick and roll sets, like that's credited to how well Jimmy Butler is as a basketball player. Like he has a great offensive IQ, and on top of that, he can just get to any spot on the floor you want. So it doesn't really matter. But we saw later down the line in that 76ers series, it's like Jimmy got it. Like it's no way they should be playing drop coverage on a pick and roll because you can't hit a 17-foot jump shot, or you can't step out to the 3 point line and knock down two or three, 1 or 2 a game. Like
yeah,
I feel as though it's starting to get to that time where you gotta be able to you gotta expand your game. Like
yeah,
if they want to take that jump, he has to be better.
yeah,
Like Bam has to be better.
yeah, like him as a second option, he was like I don't did Bam ever even average 20? Like
Yeah,
Bam, I
last year
don't
he averaged 20.
This year he averaged
he
20.4.
averaged 20.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, but that's too long. That was his first year average 20. He's in what? He about to
I
enter
mean,
what?
he's been like the past couple years
It's been
before
like
this year.
borderline.
Yeah, borderline, but it's like still that's not it. Like I see where you're
Yeah,
coming from.
Yeah.
that's not enough. Like he's been an all-star, bro. Like he gotta be like in that 22, 23 at least like range. You feel me? And
Yeah,
then like I said, like the Heat run was a fluke. They got one elite series out of Jimmy Butler. He was mid in the Knicks series. He got a good amount of help in that series. In the Celtics series, we all know like he was mid in that series, and Caleb Martin just went off. Like he got. Don't laugh at me, y'all. Y'all know I'm so hurt for that, bro. Yeah, like Caleb Martin, them undrafted guys, they just went off. Like so, like I said, like for him to want to be there, and I'm not like they got to the finals. I'm not gonna just discredit that. Like they got there, but they didn't like for him to want to be there so much when they necessarily didn't belong there. I don't see the I don't really see why. I'm not seeing why. I could understand wanting to be coached by Eric Spoelstra and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't see why he would want to go there. Because if you go there, then wanted those guys that you want to play with so bad get hurt, you don't have anybody else to go and produce for you. Now you're
I like Dame in Brooklyn better than I did in Miami.
I love Damon Brooklyn better than, especially with Mikal Bridges there right now and Cam Johnson. I love Damon Brooklyn more than Miami. But now I feel like it's about nice weather in the bag more than it's about winning a championship. That's me.
Hey,
Dame.
fellas, episode 1, clap it up. 15 teams, 15 questions. I think we did pretty good. I think we did pretty good.
I think we did good. I'm not gonna lie.
Shosky.
So, with all that being said, I just want to thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for listening. If y'all rock with it, be sure to follow us on Instagram at the Triangle O Pod. You can also find us at TikTok, TTO Pod. We're gonna be on YouTube. We're gonna be on Apple Podcasts. We're gonna be on Spotify. This is the start of something a long time coming, like we said in the beginning. So take this journey with us, and thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we're gonna see you next week. Peace out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.